Welcome to BBSN, and we are getting ready to start the first game of our St. Louis Browns 1922 Time Machine project. And in this project, the Browns have been taken via time machine to the year 1977 to take the place of the Toronto Blue Jays to see how they fare against the American League. Now, the Blue Jays that year won 54 games, and with a loaded St. Louis team that lost out on winning the 1922 pennant by a single game to the New York Yankees. The goal here is to guide them to a winning record. And again, as I mentioned in the preview to this, I'm thinking that they can come in as high as third place in the American League East, at least, based on the fact that 6 of their 8 regulars hit over 300 that season, and they were thin on pitching but had decent enough pitching, at least in the first 2 to 3 spots in the rotation. So before we introduce the starting lineups, a couple of housekeeping items. This great team set that the Browns come from was only available in Basic, so all these games will be played with Basic, which is probably a good thing because I haven't played Strat for a minute, and make the games go quicker, and I won't get bogged down trying to remember things on the advanced version. In terms of the lineups, the teams that they play, or that the Blue Jays played, that we play in the Blue Jays schedule, and I will be using the as-played lineups as much as possible, including batting order and pitchers. And in this particular opening game with the White Sox, we have all the players that played in that game, so it'll be the as-played lineup. The only one missing is the starting pitcher for Game 1 for the White Sox, Ken Brett. He was traded to California in 1977, so he was not included in this particular set as part of the White Sox. So in his place starting will be another pickup that the White Sox scored during the season, Steve Rinko. And everyone else will be as is. For the Browns, lineups, they used pretty much the same lineup in the majority of their games. Very little deviation. I went through and checked various dates on their schedule in 1922, and they had several players that played in nearly every game. And for the most part, even when some players didn't start every game, their replacements occupied the same spot in the batting order. So the batting order you see today will pretty much be the batting order that I will use for the Browns for the entire replay. One big difference, obviously, this is 1977, and this is the American League, so we will be using the designated hitter rule, and the Browns will get that benefit, which actually helps them since they only have 7 pitchers on the staff that are carded in this version. A couple other things for steals. I'll be using a automatic steal system that kind of my own invention, I guess you could say. Depending on how many attempts a player had once they get on base and it's a potential steal situation, i.e. nobody on the base in front of them, I'll be throwing a 2-die-6 to see if they're going to attempt or not. And all the other rules will be basic. For the steal rule, I will be using the hold adjustment where the catcher's defense will be subtracted from the base runner's steal range or safe range on their steal rating. And we'll pretty much consider all base runners held unless it's a blowout, at which point I won't be stealing. So I think that is pretty much it. So with that, let's get to our starting lineups. First of all, for the visiting 1977 White Sox, playing left field and hitting leadoff, Ralph Garr. Batting second at short, Alan Bannister. Hitting third, playing second base, George Orta. Batting cleanup and in right field, Richie Zisk. Playing first base and batting fifth, Jim Spencer. In the 6th spot and designated hitter, Oscar Gamble. And we just recently lost Gamble, I believe, about a week ago, so rest in peace, Oscar. Batting 7th and playing third base today, Eric Soderholm. In center field, hitting 8th, Chet Lemon. And catching and batting 9th, Brian Downing. And for the St. Louis Browns, and again, this will pretty much be their lineup most every game. Leading off and playing right field, Jack Tobin. Batting 2nd, playing 3rd, Frank Ellerby. Batting 3rd, playing first base, Hall of Famer George Sisler, who hit .420 that season. The cleanup batter and 2nd in the league in home runs to Babe Ruth in 1922, Ken Williams. And you see in left field, sorry. Baby Doll Jacobson will be in center, and he will bat 5th. Batting 6th and manning 2nd base, Marty McManus. Behind the plate and batting 7th, Hank Severide. The designated hitter in a new role for the Browns, Chick Shorten. And finally batting 9th and playing shortstop, Wally Gerber. And our pitchers today, as mentioned, for the White Sox, Steve Arenko will get the start. And for the Browns, Urban Shocker. And Shocker was another really good pitcher. Went on to pitch for the Yankees and was on the Yankees during the 1927 season. Life was cut short, unfortunately, due to a heart condition. But had he stayed healthy and strong, and we hear stories. I do a lot of historical reading on baseball and hear a lot of stories about Shocker that in some games toward the end of his career, he would actually at times pass out warming up in the bullpen, was very weak from his condition, and still managed to crank out some good seasons, 1927 being one of them where he contributed significantly to the Yankees run that year. But anyway, we are ready to start. Ralph Garr steps up to the plate, and our 1922 Browns Time Machine replay is underway. So 4-10, and right off the bat, a home run on a roll of 1-3, but that is not going to happen. So Garr flies out to right field, 1 down. Alan Bannister, the batter. 1-10, be a ground ball to the pitcher. So Shocker over to Sisler, 2 outs. Second baseman George Orta. And 2-9, and that will be a ground ball to second base. So 4-3, Orta goes down, and the White Sox are gone in order in the top of the first inning. And the St. Louis Browns now ready to get things underway. Jack Tobin, the right fielder, will be leading off. And he did have 13 home runs in 1922 from this position, so he has a little pop. 6-7, and that's going to be a single. So Tobin starts the game. And he will not be stealing. So runner on first, and Frank Ellerby is up. I was curious, he really wasn't one of their better hitters, one of only 2 regulars in the lineup. In fact, his batting average of .246 was the lowest of any regulars, and that's a 3.8, and that'll be a strikeout, 1 down. Yet he remained pretty much in the second spot the entire season for the Browns, so I personally would have batted Jacobson in the second spot, but that's me. And George Sisler steps up, and 1-11, and that's going to be a ground ball to second base, and that is going to be a double play. So a leadoff single goes to Waste, and we are through 1 inning. Score 0-0. Urban Shocker back on the mound as Richie Zisk leads off the second inning. And 2-6, and that's going to be a split chance, and that will be a double, so Zisk sends one into the gap, and he winds up at second base, getting in just ahead of the throw. And the White Sox have something going here on the top of the second. Power hitting Jim Spencer steps up. And 4-7, and that'll be a strikeout. So Shocker rebounds to whiff Spencer on the 2-2 fastball. And Oscar Gamble, the designated hitter, steps up. And 6-7. And that is going to be a single. And choice here on whether or not Zisk is going to try and score. He is not that fleet of foot, so we're going to hold him at third. So one down, first and third, and Eric Soderholm, third baseman, comes to the plate. Pitch from Shocker is 2-9, and that is going to be a fly ball to center field. And Zisk is tagging, and he is going to rumble home. All other runners hold. And the Sox break on top first on a sacrifice fly by Soderholm. 2 down, and our score is 1-0. Chet Lemon, the 8th spot, stares down Shocker. The pitch is 1-12, and that's going to be a line out to third into as many outs as possible. We only need one. So the inning is over, but not before the Sox break on top. Courtesy of 2 hits, a sacrifice fly. They leave 1 man left. And we head to the bottom of the second. White Sox 1, Browns 0. And Ken Williams will start it for the Browns. Williams had 39 home runs in 1922 to go with 34 doubles, 11 triples. The pitch is 3-5. And that is going to be a walk. So once again, St. Louis has their leadoff batter on. And that will bring Baby Doll Jacobson. One of the better names in baseball. Probably got a little bit of ribbing for that. 5 and a 3. And that is going to be a fly ball to left field X. And in left field, Ralph Garr is a 3. And we have a roll of 10. And that is going to be an out. Runner on third scores, which is not the case. Everyone else holds. So 1 down. And Marty McManus comes to the plate. McManus had a solid season at the keystone position for the Browns, hitting .312. Also double figures in doubles, triples, and home runs, 112. And that's going to be a pop out to third base plus injury. And we'll not be doing injuries at all in this replay. As indicated, I wanted to make it as true to life as possible. So for the teams that they play in the American League, it will be as played lineups. The Browns, I will use their standard lineup most of the time and will be judicious. Like I said, most of their players in the starting 8 played in almost every game, but I will make substitutions and will not overuse anybody who didn't. So no injuries in this one though. And Hank Severide's up with 1 on, 2 down, and 110. And that will be a single. And with 2 outs, we're going to send Williams to third base. So he'll get a +2, so it's 1 to 18. He's in there. And the Browns have a little bit of a threat going here. Try to get back in, tie this thing up. And Chick Shorten, the first time in St. Louis Browns history a designated hitter has batted. And that's going to be a 2-6, and that will be a fly ball to right field, and that will end the inning. So the Browns put a couple on, but cannot cash in. We go to the top of the third now, and our score remains White Sox 1, Browns 0. And the number 9 hitter for the White Sox, Brian Downing. Went on to have some good seasons for the Angels in later years. And that's a 5-7. And that will be a ground ball to second base X. And McManus is a 1. And that will be a ground out. So 4-3, Downing goes down. Back to the top of the order to Ralph Garr. And Mr. Garr flew out to right field to open the ball game. And 6-12. That's going to be a ground ball to first. So Sisler will take that unassisted. And we have 2 quick outs. Alan Bannister, the shortstop, up. Shocker the pitch, 5-8. And there'll be a pop out to third. So Shocker, a quick and easy inning. And we will head to the bottom of the third. Our score, White Sox 1, Browns 0 still. And leading off for the Browns, the 9th place hitter, shortstop Lloyd Gerber. He is the second of the regulars who did not hit 300 or better in 1922, clocking in at 267. And that is a 1-6, and that's going to be a line out to shortstop. So Renko looking comfortable, pitching against the recent arrivals to the time portal. And 4-8. Will be a fly ball to center field. 2 down, and Frank Ellerby steps up. Ellerby struck out his first time up. And 1-4, pop out to third base. So 1, 2, 3 go the Browns, and we are through 3 innings. Our score still 1-0, White Sox with a lead. This White Sox team does, though he's in the bullpen now, still has one of my favorite pitchers, Wilbur Wood. One of the few modern-day pitchers who won 20 and lost 20 in the same season, and knuckleballer. Used to love watching him pitch on Game of the Week. And Orta, 1-5, and that's going to be a single. So George is on board, and he needs a 3 or better to steal. I'm not going to get it. So he will hold at first base. Richie Zisk, the batter. Zisk doubled and later scored the game's only run. His first time up, 4-9. And that is going to be a single plus 2. So Zisk now 2 for 2. And the Sox have something going against Shocker here in the top of the 4th. 2 on, nobody out, and Jim Spencer coming to the plate. 6-9, and that's going to be a single. So Orta comes home, and again Zisk will hold at second base because he's not very fleet of foot, and there's no outs. We don't want to kill a rally here. Oscar Gamble, it will be the next batter. Severide goes out to talk to Shocker, and Shocker with a pitch. 5-3, and that is going to be a ground ball to shortstop. And that will be an X. And Gerber is a 2-17. And that is going to be an out 3. So that will be a double play. So Gerber, big play there. Zisk moves to third. And now the Sox still have a runner in scoring position, but there are 2 out. And Shocker will try and get out of this with minimal damage as Eric Soderholm steps up to the plate. And 5 and a 6. And that'll be a fly ball to center field, and Shocker pitches out of it after giving up 3 singles to start the inning. We're going to the bottom of the 4th. Score White Sox 2, St. Louis Browns 0. And the meat of the order is up for the Browns. Sisler, interesting with him, he played later in his career nearly blind and still managed to hit fairly decently. He saw things really good in 1922, though, hitting at 420 as mentioned in introductions. 6 and a 9. That's going to be a walk. And Sisler on a 5 or better he will run. That's not the case. So he holds at first base, and the cleanup hitter Ken Williams steps up. 4 and a 7. It'll be a ground ball to second base X. And Orta is a 4. So 3. And that's going to be a single +1. So Orta does not have the range, and the Browns now have a threat going. Runners on first and second, and nobody out. Baby Doll Jacobson coming to the plate. Rinko pitches, 110, and that's going to be a pop-up to shortstop. And Bannister puts this one away. So a big out there, and it puts the Sox in a double play to get out of the inning. The pitch is 3 and a 10. It's going to be a pop-up to shortstop too. So Renko with some junk is baffling the Browns hitters. Two consecutive pop-ups, 2 out now, 2 runners on. Hank Severide and 2 and a 7. And that is going to be a single 1. 2 on the split there. So the bases are loaded, and the designated hitter, Chick Shorten, in a role he is not familiar with. Can he come through with a big hit? And 2 and a 5, and that's going to be a walk. So Renko, 2 walks in the inning, having some control problems. The bases remain loaded, and the Browns are on the board. It is now 2-1. Shorten gets the easy RBI. And Wally Gerber, the number 9 hitter, will step up now. Pitch from Renko, 4-10. And that'll be a ground ball shortstop X. And Bannister's a 4. And that will be a single, runners advance 1. So twice this inning, the White Sox fielders in position to make plays and cannot come up with it. And we are tied at 2 as a C&I single from Gerber just gets under his glove. And we're back to the top of the order now. Renko's a little rattled there. Got a skew. Jack Tobin steps up. And he can make a statement for our time travelers here. Pitch from Renko. And 1 and a 9. And that is going to be a double. So Tobin rattles one into the right center field gap. Severide scores. Shorten comes around to score. And Gerber, 1-16 with 2 outs. He's going to give it a shot. Here comes a throw to the plate. And whoa! Gerber will not score. He's gunned down. And Richie Zisk with a strong throw there. So that will end it. Gerber out at home. And that will be 8-2. But 4 big runs for the Browns. And we are through 4 complete innings. Our score, St. Louis 4, Chicago 2. All right, Shocker now, pitching with the lead for the first time today. Chet Lemon will lead it off for the Sox. And that's a 1 and a 2. It'll be a fly ball to center field. And 1 quick out. Brian Downing will be next. 4-6. It'll be a ground ball to shortstop X. And Gerber is a 2. 9 is the roll. And that will be a 1 base error, so E6. Gerber boots that. And defensive play is making a difference here in this one. 2 C&I singles for the Browns last inning, and now an E6. Puts a runner on for the Sox. Ralph Garza up. Pitch from Shocker. 6-8. And that'll be a single. And Downing, he's not going to try and advance. The Browns, they actually have a fair amount of team speed. White Sox, not so much. But 2 are on, 1 is down, and Alan Bannister, the batter, 1-6, and that's going to be a walk. So now the Sox have the bases loaded, 1 out. And Shocker is in a jam. You're not getting the pitching today. George Order, the batter. 3-2. And that will be a line out to first base plus injury, which we're not playing. So a huge out there. Runners hold. 2 down, and the power hitting Richie Ziska's up. He had 30 home runs in 1977. He is a threat to go deep. And 3-10. And it'll be a ground ball to third base, and Shocker pitches out of it. Zisk had been 2 for 2 coming into this at bat, but a huge out there. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. Our score is still Browns 4, White Sox 1. All right, Frank Ellerby will lead it off for the Browns. And there is some rumbling in the White Sox bullpen. And the lefty Bruce Canton will start to warm up. As Renko prepares to face Ellerby, here's the pitch, 3-7. And it'll be a fly ball to left field, 1 down. George Sisler steps up. Sisler is grounded into a double play and walk. The pitch is a 4-9. And that's going to be a strikeout. So Sisler, not an easy man to fan, goes down swinging, and 2 quick outs for Renko. Ken Williams up, 4-7. That'll be a ground ball to second base, X. And once again, Orta is a 4. So it's a 6. And again, Orta cannot make the play, and Ken Williams singles. So with 2 out, there is life here. And Williams on a roll of 5 will attempt to steal. That is above. He will not go. So 1 on, 2 out. Baby Doll Jacobson up. The pitch is a 5-9 and strikeout. So Renko says, I'll do it myself. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, and we are through 5. It is 4-2 Browns. Urban Shocker back out, the Shocker. Okay, so left-handed hitting Jim Spencer, first baseman for the Sox. He's got a little bit of pop in his back too, or 18 home runs in 77. 4 and a 6, and it'll be ground ball to shortstop X. And Gerber 2, 9, and that will be a ground out. So 6-3 over to Sisler, and Spencer is retired. Brings up Oscar Gamble. Pitch from Shocker, 5-9. Be a fly ball to center field. And Jacobson drifts over, puts that away, and 2 quick outs. Eric Soderholm, third baseman, will come to the plate. Pitch, 2-2. And that'll be a fly ball to left field, and Williams drifts over, runs that one down, and we are going to the bottom of the 6th. Browns 4, White Sox 2. All right, Renko is going to get another inning, but we'll have a short leash. He's getting to his point of weakness. McManus will lead it off for the Brownies. 4-9, strikeout. So Renko, 3 of the last 4 batters have been K'd, and that is 5 total for the game for Steve. Hank Severide, the catcher, comes up. Renko the pitch. 5-6, and strikeout. So Renko has the K-ball going. That's 3 in a row. And 4 of 5 as Chick Shorten comes up. 5-7, and that is going to be a single. So Shorten breaks the streak there. And he is definitely not a threat to steal. He needs a 2, rolls a 6, so he will stay put. And Wally Gerber, the shortstop, will be the batter. 1 on, 2 down. Renko the pitch. 3-5. And that will be a single. And Shorten, 1-15 to go to third. We are going to go for it with 2 down. And he is in there successfully. So first and third now, and Dal Canton in the bullpen signals he is ready. And it looks like they're going to give Renko one more batter here, and that will be Jack Tobin, who has a chance to extend the lead. Here's the pitch, 2-4. And that'll be a ground ball to the pitcher. So Renko gets out of it, 1-3. We'll toss over to Spencer, and we go to the top of the 7th, and our score is St. Louis 4, Chicago 2. And Renko is going to be pulled for the next inning for Dal Canton, so we'll get him up there. And Shocker just standing on his head on the mound today. It's like 3 times I put him upside down. So Renko, he was in trouble a couple of times, but really only had 1 bad inning, and that was the 4th when he gave up all 4 of those runs. Pitched well besides that for the most part. And also sent 5 Browns down swinging. So Chet Lemon now in the top of the 7th will try and get the White Sox back into the game. And the pitch for Shocker is 1-8. And that is going to be a double. So Lemon comes through. He ropes that into center field. And he has a stand-up double there to lead off the inning. Nobody out. And no action in the Browns bullpen. They are going to ride with Shocker. Here's the pitch. 5-5. It'll be a fly ball to center field. And on that one, runners will hold. So back to the top of the order for the Sox. And Ralph Garr will be the batter. Garr today has singled and flown out to right field, grounded out to first unassisted. One on, one down. Pitch is 5-9. And that'll be a fly ball to center. And runner will hold there. So 2 consecutive flyouts to Jacobson. And if the Sox want to get back in this, they need to make it happen now. Alan Bannister is the man. The pitch, 3 1/8. And that's a line out to shortstop. So Bannister cannot come through. And a good play there by Gerber. And it's 7th inning stretch time as the Browns cling to a 4-2 lead with all their runs coming in the 4th inning. The new pitcher for the Chi Sox will be Bruce Dalcanton, the crafty lefty. And he went 0-2 in 1977, 3.75 ERA. And he will look to keep it close and give the Sox a chance to come back and tie it or take the lead. Ellerby leads it off. 5-6, and that'll be a fly ball to center field. So center fielder's getting some action. Lemon pulls out one down, and George Sisler walked, struck out, and hit into a double play. He is due, folks. 3 6, and just like that, Sisler ropes one down into the right field corner, and Ziska's chasing it. It eludes him. Rounding second and going to third with a triple. George Sisler. And instant scoring position for the Browns as Ken Williams, the dangerous one, and he has singled twice today and walked, scored a run. The pitch from Dalcanton, 4-4. That'll be a fly ball to center field X. And Lemon is a 3. So 16 and a 3. And that will be a fly out. And runners will hold. So not deep enough to get the run home from third base. And that could prove to be a huge, huge out. 2 down now. And Baby Doll Jacobson will be the batter. Jacobson today is 0 for 3. He struck out his last time up. And 1-7, and that's going to be another triple. So Sisler jogs home, and Jacobson chugging around the bases, and he's going to go into third head first. RBI triple, and the Browns open the lead up to 5-2, and Marty McManus will be the batter. McManus 0 for 3, and 3 8, and that'll be a ground ball to third base. And the Sox get out of it, but not before giving up another run on 2 triples. And we will head to the top of the 8th, and the Browns cling to a 5-2 lead and are off to a great start in their time machine debut. So George Orta now will start it for the Sox in the top of the 8th inning. Urban Shocker gave up a couple of runs early, but has looked strong. And 2 9. And that'll be a ground ball to second base. So 1 down on that. McManus to Sisler, and Richie Zisk will be the batter. Zisk had trouble getting to Sisler's hit in the last inning, ended up being a triple. And 5 9. And that'll be a fly ball to center field. So 2 down as Jacobson puts that one away. And Jim Spencer will be the next batter. Shocker. He sees the finish line, folks. The pitch, 6-10. And not so good there. Spencer ropes one past third base. That's down the line, and he is going to go into second, sliding in with a double. So a flicker of hope. And Oscar Gamble can get the Sox to run closer here. It's a 6 and a 6. And just missed. That's going to be a fly ball to left field. And Spencer's double goes for naught as we go to the bottom of the 8th. And the Browns up comfortably, 5-2. Bruce Canton back on the mound. And here's the pitch to Severide, 5-6. And that'll be a fly ball to center field. So Lemon with another put out. One down for Chick Shorten. And Shorten has walked in a run actually, and later scored back in the 4th and singled his last time up. 3-7, and it'll be ground ball to first base. And picked up by Spencer, underhands it to Canton, 3-1, and we have 2 away. Wally Gerber, the batter now. Gerber today is 2 for 3. He has singled and driven in a run. Canton the pitch, 6-6, and pops him up, and that's going to go to shortstop. Bannister squeezes it, and we are through 8 full innings, and the Browns continue to lead 5-2, and we go to the bottom of the top of the 9th. Shocker will be back out there to face Soderholm, and the ball is in his hands. Things straight here. Shocker says, in my day, we didn't need closers. We just finished what we started. So that's what he aims to do. Soderholm in the box. 3-2. That's going to be a ground ball to second base. So McManus up with it, over to Sisler, and 1 down. St. Louis Browns fans can feel it now and win in their opening game of 1977, via 1922, and that's a 2 and a 9, and that's going to be a strikeout. So Lemon goes down hacking, and that's Shocker's 2nd strikeout of the game, and Brian Downing will be the last hope for the visiting Sox here. Shocker sets, delivers. 6-9, and that is a single right up the middle, so Brian Downing is not ready to call tonight yet for his team. And Downing, 7, he will not try and steal. Actually, I would have pulled manager decision there. You're not going to steal down 3 runs. Trying to get a rally going. So Ralph Garr, try to keep it alive for the Sox. 6-12, and ground ball down to first base, and Sisler up with it over to first, and this one is over, and the St. Louis Browns make a successful time machine debut, defeating the White Sox 5-2 behind a complete game from Urban Shocker and a big 4-run 4th. So we hope you enjoyed the first game of the Strat Time Machine series. Happy rolling and have a good night.